I don't know how else to start this video, but basically I have a shopping addiction and it's something that I've recently come to terms with, and I need to slow down with my spending and buying clothes that I end up giving away and donating, and I just really want to stop that horrible cycle. And so I have decided to actively stop shopping and instead focus on sewing my own clothes because I have no excuse. I have the skill set. Up until 3 months ago, my sewing was good, but I wasn't able to make the things that I had envisioned in my head. But after starting sewing school in January, honestly, my skills have become so good. Like, I made this top from an old pair of jeans. It has an invisible zip in the back and it fits so good, and I couldn't make something like this last year, but now, because I can make more complex pieces and more, in my eyes, like fashionable pieces which I want to wear, I really just want to stop shopping and just focus on sewing to kind of just slow down my consumption and save my pocket. And you know, it's serious when I brought out the iPad because I've made a couple of plans of the things that I want to sew. The first project that's been taking space up in my mind is this idea for a really romantic summer dress that I want to make using an old bedsheet that I have. So this bedsheet is 100% cotton, which is why I really want to use it, but it doesn't fit my bed anymore. It's for a double bed and I have a bigger one. And so instead of like throwing away that fabric or donating it and it ending up in a landfill, I think it would look really nice as a summer dress. And so the plan for this dress is, for the top of it, I have an idea to use this pattern that I have. It is the New Look K6261 version B, and I want to use that to make the bodice of the dress. For the bottom of the skirt, I want it to be gathered at the waist and have quite like a full look with some gathering. I'm thinking of either freehanding it or like using this A-line skirt pattern that I have. How cute is this pin cushion that I made? I basically now just need to mark where I'm going to cut because this is a dress, right? I need to mark out where I'm going to cut off the excess. I have decided to just draft my own skirt pattern. So I'm going to draft a very oversized A-line skirt, and I want this oversized because I plan on gathering it at the waist for like a nice billowy effect. I'm not even going to explain my rationale too much because I don't even know if it's going to work out or come out nice. I honestly think the shape is going to come out really nice. The length is great. Ooh, nice and easy. I am finally done cutting up all of the pieces. It's now time to sew. My only reservation is I think it might come out a little see-through. But I just can't be bothered to make any lining. I'm just going to have to wear nude underwear with this, or no underwear, who knows. I want to be wrapped up with this project by 4 p.m. The time is 2:08. I am tired. I'm tired and I'm hungry, but I've managed to finish the bodice. I need to now add my facing, and then I'm going to go ahead and just do my overlocking. So I'm going to overlock the top of the skirt, the bottom of the skirt, the sides, and all of the bits on the top which need overlocking. So I'm going to challenge myself to do all of that before I go and eat. So let's get into it. overlocking the skirt. It's like 5 o'clock, guys. It's taken me 5 hours to get to this point. Happy with the fit of the bodice, but I do wish I had taken the time to do the lining. Yeah, it's the next day, and now I'm gonna work on the skirt. I'm gonna do 2 basting stitches at the top to basically gather this so that the width of this fits around the bodice of the top, but I'm really happy with how it's come out. My zip has also arrived, so let's get into it. Now, I have a tutorial on how to create ruffles on my YouTube, but when I do a basting stitch for ruffles, I like to do 2 rows of stitching. I feel like it really just helps to gather this so much easier and so much more evenly. I'm going to just gather this as evenly as possible and make sure that the width of this fits around the bodice. I do quite like this part of gathering. It's very therapeutic. I'm not sure whether it's going to have the vision. Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing, but let's see how it turns out. Who knows? Let's see. I was being so delusional about how long this dress would take. It is day 3 and I'm attempting to finish the dress today. I need to put in the zip, close up the back and hem the dress, and then see if I want to add any more design elements because it is a very simple dress. I need to finish this dress today. I can't do day 4. Also, I'm fuming because I just realized my mic was on mute for some of yesterday. So I've actually been doing a 6-month sewing course, and one of my favorite things or most invaluable things I've learned from that course is how to put in an invisible zip. Honestly, huge game changer, and that's the kind of zip I'm going to be putting in today. We are finally done. OMG, I cannot believe how long it took me to make this dress. The skirt that I drafted, the back ended up being way too baggy and it looked really weird. So I ended up having to take a lot of that back off. So if you're trying to make this, don't even try and copy what I did. Take the time to draft a proper A-line oversized skirt. And then I added these cute little bow details on the hem of the bodice, and I think it makes it look a little bit more whimsical. And overall, I'm really happy with the dress. This is my most professional best project yet to date. It is such a cute dress, and when I initially sketched it out, this is exactly what I had in mind. I'm so happy with it. I do really love how all of the details came together. I love that you can kind of just see the underneath the darts and all of those details. I love this dress so much. I feel so pretty. And to style it, I would style it with my just ballet flats, a cute little bag. And yeah, I just now need somewhere cute to wear it. At the moment, I have been really obsessed with dark chocolate brown, and I don't know if it's because maybe the things that I'm seeing on my algorithm, I'm not sure, but I just love that color, and everywhere I look I see it and I think it's so beautiful. So my next 2 projects are going to have that dark chocolate color, and I will need to buy fabric for this. But the first is a pair of chocolate linen trousers. The idea is to have them low rise with inseam pockets, and then to just add like some design, I want to make like a thin belt to go at the top and to loop through there, and they will feature a elastic waistband so that if I gain weight or lose weight, they'll still fit me, and then they'll also be really comfortable. Today I'm going to be starting off with the trousers and drafting the pattern for that, and then I'm also going to try and do a mock-up with some old bed sheets. So let's get into it. To draft my linen pants, I'm going to be using these jeans, which fit me pretty well. They have a nice low-rise fit. I'm now going to go ahead and cut out these pattern pieces and then cut out the bed sheet that I'm going to be using for my mock-up, and I'm hoping I'll be able to finish this at least today. Let's see how it goes. One thing I will say is for the waistband, you can see heaps of marking lines. I basically had to make sure that the length, the total width, sorry, of my waistband was wide enough to pass my hips, because these pants are not going to have a zipper. So if you are making your own pants, just try and factor that in. Guys, that headband was giving me a headache. I feel like the hardest part of the project is now done. I've drafted the pattern, I've cut out my pieces. I also created pockets for the pants. Never done pockets before, but really excited to have those in today. Now time to sew, which is always my favorite part, and to actually remember how to sew pants. I'm going to watch my own tutorial on TikTok, because I feel like it was a really easy tutorial and very quick. I'm going to show you how to make the easiest, most flattering trousers ever. I've already done one leg and I realized I've sewn the two front pieces together and the two backs together, so I'm going to have to... And this is exactly why you do a mock-up, so you can learn from your mistakes. I think this is a sign I need to go and eat, and then I'm going to come back and do this again. I hate seam ripping with a passion. OMG, I'm actually low-key shocked. The trousers fit so nicely. The only thing I'd say, one of the legs, I don't know if you can see, one of the legs didn't quite match up or align. It could be maybe the fabric was wrinkled, but one of the other legs matched a lot better. So overall, I'm really happy. I'm going to add elastic. The elastic is added and I'm pretty happy with the fit and this mock-up. And I think I am going to just, call it a day. And then we go fabric shopping tomorrow, which I am so excited about. It is the next day and today I am going fabric shopping. I'm really excited. I haven't been to a fabric store, honestly, in such a long time, because I've always just bought my fabric online. But I need this linen to be like amazing, excellent. I need the color to be chocolate. I found a fabric shop in East London. I think it's called Dalston Mill Fabrics. I ended up changing my outfit and putting jeans on instead. This shade is exactly the color I was looking for, so I'm so excited. I have got an hour and a half before I need to basically leave my house. So I'm going to try and just whip up these pants and sew these in the next hour and a half. So it's time to just focus and get this done. My fabric is cut. I don't want any mistakes when it comes to sewing, so I'm going to use some chalk to just mark out the wrong sides of my fabric, because I need this to be a seamless sew. I didn't actually end up adding pockets when I did my mock-up because I messed them. So I'm going to be adding pockets for the first time. I'm going to be just super careful, take my time, and pray that this works seamlessly, because I actually don't have time for mistakes. I need this project done in the next hour. I really wish I had brown overlocker thread just to make this look more professional, but it is what it is. And now to do that 4 more times. This is actually taking a lot longer than I thought. I don't know why I'm acting surprised, because yesterday's mock-up took me 5 hours. Before I sew the two sides of the trousers together, I need to understitch the pockets, a fancy technique I learned in sewing school, which I'm very excited about. With an understitch, it basically helps the pocket stay inside of the trousers. With understitching, you're trying to catch the hem underneath, and I'm just sewing this pocket onto that. It took me 2.5 hours, but after 2.5 hours, I finally have trousers. I have waited a whole week for brown thread to match my pants. I now need to hem the bottom of the trousers and then also add a waistband. We're finishing these trousers today. I've decided that I want to wear this matching linen set for my birthday, which is coming up, which is in 3 days. And so there's a little bit of time pressure now for it to finish, but also for it to look good. So I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, I can finish the trousers and the matching top in the next 3 days, which is hard because I also work full time. For the waistband, I'm basically folding this over towards the wrong side of the fabric and pinning all around, making sure there is enough space for the waistband to fit, and obviously trying to keep it as even as possible. I've managed to get the elastic into the pants. I'm making sure the elastic is sitting in nice and flat before I sew the two sides together. Oh my god, guys, I just tried them on and they fit fantastic. For my waistbands, to just kind of prevent this bit from moving around and folding, I will basically do a straight stitch on here, but while I'm stitching, keep this straight and sew it down. You just need to make sure that the fabric is gathered as evenly as possible and that your waistband stretches at least as wide as the trousers, otherwise you are going to get bunching. Just look at the difference that makes with the finishing. I think it just makes them look so much more professional. So I'm going to go ahead and create 2 little belt loops for the sides of the trousers, and that's where the belt is going to go through. I am so happy with how these trousers came out and how they fit. Honestly, apart from the fact that they were supposed to be low rise and they ended up being high rise, I'm honestly really super pleased. I love how the belt detail looks with the pants. I think it makes this really plain pair of trousers just look more just interesting. Now I will say I end up somehow making the trouser a little bit too short to my liking. So to lengthen it, I ended up adding like another piece of fabric on the bottom. So it kind of looks like a band, but it basically, to me, it kind of feels like a design element. And so I'm quite happy with how it came out. But now I know for future, if I make these again, I will need to lengthen my pattern. And I think with the corset top, I think it's going to look really good. So I'm actually excited to work on that. And for the final project, I would like to make a dark chocolate linen corset bodice top to go with the pants that I am sewing. And for this, I have a pattern from sewing school that they gave us that I'm basically going to alter. I'm really tired, but we are starting the top portion of this 2-piece set. I made this bodice in sewing school, but I have gone ahead and altered the pattern that we used. I've made it shorter because I don't want this to be a full bodice. I want this corset top to be cropped, and I also want the back to lace up. I also changed the neckline where I just wanted a straight bodice like this rather than kind of like a V-neck. So tonight I'm going to cut out the lining and just use that kind of like as my mock-up to just make sure that this pattern fits and it looks good before I cut into my linen, because it's the only linen I have and I want to make sure that it's perfect. This is the fabric that I'm using for the lining. It is an old curtain basically. Okay, let's play some music, cause girl. I've just finished sewing the lining and I'm really happy with it. The fit is really good. I love the neckline. I love the length. It's perfect. And so tomorrow I'm going to cut out my nice fabric and try and finish it in one go. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm excited. I'm so excited. We are finishing this corset top today, okay? It's happening. I have finished cutting up the linen, sewing that together, and so I have the lining ready and obviously the chocolate fabric ready and sewed. Next part is basically adding boning to the lining and then attaching the two pieces, adding straps, and then doing the corset back. And I feel like I could knock this out in like an hour and a half max. So I'm going to be attaching boning to every bit where the panels meet. This boning is actually quite easy for a needle to get through, so I'm just going to sew this piece all along here, and the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to sew a straight stitch on this side and then another straight stitch on this side to hold it down, and I'm going to sew this onto the inside of the lining. Before I attach the lining onto the outside fabric, I do need to create straps because I need to sew these on while I'm sewing the lining. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. One of the most valuable things that I learned in sewing school is how important it is to understitch. Makes clothing just look so much more professional. That's how it looks like on the inside, that little brown stitching. So I'm just pressing this so that it just looks nice and crisp. We are almost there, guys. The final step is to create little loops for the corset back, to insert those, to create the string to actually go through the corset back, and then to finish the hem and to finish off the halter neck straps. So yes, I feel like we can do this in half an hour. Let's do it. Yes, my jaw is also on the floor because how amazing does this whole set look? I actually have no words. This came out better than I expected. Now, I will say there was a couple of oopsies which I didn't film because I was so frustrated at that point. I made the back panels too long, and in the end I had to actually cut out quite a bit more fabric and then redo all of the corset eyelets again. So it did end up taking me a while. One design element I did add is I made the corset lacing really long so that I could basically either have the top really simple and tight at the back or bring it to the front and have more like this nice bow detail at the front. And I did actually manage to make it on time for my birthday, so I wore this two-piece on a vineyard in the countryside. I had the best time and I felt so beautiful wearing this. I honestly would love to make these in different colors. And this brings me to the end of this sewing vlog. I had so much fun making these 3 pieces. I'm so happy with every single one of them, and I'm so excited to just continue sewing instead of shopping. I'm having the best time. If you did enjoy this video, I would love it if you'd consider subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!